Welcome, beautiful people, to my channel where we deep dive into a little bit of everything. We're all about fun, shady reviews, candid conversations, and honest social commentary. But remember, this is a safe space where we aim to have a good time. Our opinions are all in good fun, and remember, no offense or harm is ever intended. I'm your girl, Tammy. Hit that subscribe button and let's get started. Okay, y'all. So we are back for episode 2 of Ready to Love, season 8, Dallas. Okay, so we're just gonna jump right into it. As I let y'all know all the time, I'm not a blow by blow recap person. So I highlight what I thought was most interesting about the episode. So let's get down to breaking down what happened on episode 2. So we are back with the Dallas cast. Everybody has met at the house. They're having a good time. And now it is time to break down further into these individual dates. Tommy shows up and invites everybody to breakfast, and the get together starts. Everybody's already been pairing up. So we're seeing some of the same faces again, sort of connecting, and everybody's rolling in casually to every situation. For me personally, I want to talk a little bit about just the visual looks. This definitely is a cast that's all over the place in terms of what the weather situation actually is in Dallas. I can't really tell if it's cold, if it's hot, if it's slightly warm. Everybody's outfits are confusing me. I don't know how y'all feel. Drop down in the comments. I feel like the fashion this season is just a little bit all over the place, just in terms of, I feel like we never know what the weather is specifically in Dallas. Was it fall? Was it spring? I can't tell because the outfits are just all over the place. I'm just happy Kara ain't wearing no white boots. Okay, so y'all. So we're now again, people are forming into line. They're coming in, they're sitting down and having like an individual, I guess, breakfast with each other, kind of waiting, trying to connect with people they haven't connected with, I guess, the first time. So Quentin definitely eyes out and looks out for Janelle. He seems to be having that connection mostly with Janelle and Lee. I like Quentin so far. He's presented himself relatively well and respectful. So he's linking up. He's all smiles. He sees Janelle walking in with that pink. This is in the curve body, and she's walking in showing her legs, and sort of they're having a good time and connection. One of the things I do like about Janelle is that she's not afraid to be flirtatious without being like overt. And I think that that's really, really good, at least early on, and with maybe certain people. I love seeing Black women just being more comfortably and free with being flirty and not trying to be so standoffish. Is not throwing yourself at anybody to just, smile or have a warm presence about you. And I think a lot of the men are as receptive as we can see in this episode as well as in the next episode, to that openness, smiling, making them feel warm and welcoming is always a plus. So far, they seem to be having good conversation. They like each other. They're getting to know each other. But I know Janelle also said that Herbert or Herb, is it Herbert or Phil? Child, I don't know. The one with the locks is on her other top as well. So it's interesting to see how this forms and who some of her other connections are. It's definitely giving, she's trying to try something from every bag to make sure that she's not missing out on the right man. Okay, so we're definitely back with Mr. Marvin. I am still trying to figure out this mixed bag of nuts here. Marvin had several breakfast dates. One that stood out to me in particular was Unique. She seems to be caught up in the web of his erotica vibe. Um, Unique's giving me low-key submissive, and I think Marvin is liking that about her. She seems very entrenched and easily impressed by his lifestyle and sort of how he is. I will say that Marvin doesn't give me creepy, which is kind of nice for somebody that's into what he's into. I do wonder like where this dynamic is really going to go as far as anything deeper with any of the women, because again, I really am trying to figure out what is his low key like lifestyle situation. Are we coming home to whips and chains? What is happening? So I feel like Marvin to me is still very surface because we just don't really know how deep this whole dominant situation goes. You barking at me when I get home and we got to have a fight. Like, I don't know. So I really want to know like what that dynamic is with him. He comes across gentlemanly for the most part. I haven't seen him act out of character or off, but there has to be a point when the master shows up, and I feel like we're not really seeing that. So I'm interested to see how much longer do we wait to sort of see what this other thing about. Also, how Marvin getting his money? Because is he stripper shows or whatever? Drop down in the comments and let me know. He said he does like live shows or live appearances or something like that. Is this man taking off his clothes? What's going on? How he paying the bills? Child, Red done came back for revenge. When I tell you this man showed up in that button up suit and that I don't know, is that confetti? I don't know what that shirt is. He waited straight up to come and get Megan Good's cousin slash grandma. I don't know, something about Unique face. She's a beautiful girl, but she gives me Megan Good, but she also gives me grandma face. I don't know. I hate, I'm not trying to down her. It's just something about that. She looked old and young at the same time. And maybe it's the way she sits. She sits so slumped. I wish somebody work on her posture because it is starting to irritate me. That she don't sit straight. It's weird. I don't know if she mentioned she had like a back problem or something. I don't know what it is, but she sits so slouchy to me for an adult woman. I don't understand. But Red came here for some revenge. You don't tell me that man had that at the top of his post-it notes in his phone. He wanted to know what the problem was with her thought job comment. I really don't have a problem with him addressing her regarding it because I do think that if you feel offended by something, especially on first meeting of someone, like I said, y'all know from my review from episode 1 that I really wasn't feeling that. She called his job a thought job multiple times. I just feel like it wouldn't have been the same thing if he had said the same thing to her. We would have had a whole bunch to say. So I feel like she was just disrespectful after that first meet, regardless of what he does for a living. It was just inappropriate. And especially on a first meet when you're trying to get to know someone. So I definitely thought he had the right to address her about it. Um, I think she tried to like apologize in a way and, speak on the fact that she knows that she might have offended him or whatever. I think he came so hard with his energy. I wish he would have tried to match that the first time, but I think he was really thrown off by it. I do really hate that their whole communication has been like a high school type conversation that's just been weird. And it never really had to go this way had she kind of started off more respectfully, regardless of what he did for a living with, maybe asking him what was the interest in the job that he had instead of just calling his job a thought job. He didn't need to call her a thought. I thought that was super inappropriate and also kind of checked off another box for me with Red, where I just don't see him lasting as long. But this is just a weird interaction and it needed to end. Okay, so what would Ready Love be without a group date? And so here we are on I think this is our first group date of the season. And it looks like Tommy decided to break folks out, get them to kind of just get around and see what's going on. So we have a group date with Tequila, Red, Habibi, Phil, Janelle, and Kira. And they're all hanging out, trying to get to know each other better. Janelle kind of shows up a little bit behind everybody else. And they're just all talking and kind of getting familiar. I believe they're doing some type of football or I think it's like a football hockey thing. I don't know. It's some type of two sports in one that's awkward. And so on this, we kind of find out that Janelle has an interest in Red and vice versa. And I'm a little thrown by that connection because I didn't see that in anything from the first episode. And I certainly don't remember them having this like deeper connection. So I am interested, I guess, to see where that's going to lead. What we do know is that it leads to Janelle being a little bit, definitely catty towards Kara. I was not feeling this vibe. Janelle and I think Aries are probably my two favorite on the show so far, along with Lee. And I just did not love this energy on her. She was better than this moment. It was messy, and you could tell that Red fed into that. And then he also sort of, I think, engaged Kara more than normal to like make Janelle feel a little bit jealous. I was very disappointed in her for that. It came across a little thirsty. It came across a little extra. And there was some mean girl vibes to it. I'm not going to call her a mean girl completely. I think she was giving mean girl behavior in this episode. And I was highly disappointed in some of the behavior, but definitely on this date, I was. Habibi looks like a child throughout the date. Tequila is still engaging the silliness of him, and your boy Phil don't even want to be there. So he still was giving, limited to no energy. We still are bored and did not care. And I was just sort of disappointed with how the date ended when Janelle and Red finally did sit to chat. It wasn't all that interesting. And then like she kind of made a comment about it. And I get I don't, again, like I think I told everybody before, I'm familiar with Janelle from before the show. And I know like she's really, really into luxury fashion. And that's been a lot of her brand. She was like a fashion editor and publicist for a while. And so she's familiar with that world. And she used to like sell her clothes online and do like wholesale. And that's kind of sort of her brand with the lifestyle brand. But even that comment about the bag was just so lame to me, and it was very whack, and it just wasn't great energy. But she also wasn't here to have a conversation with Habibi, as really nobody should. And of course, Tequila was weird to want to address it like it was her issue to address. So I thought that was kind of awkward as well. I feel like if she was going to address it with Habibi, let them have a one-on-one. You coming in as some sort of school teacher to let them talk it out, or a school counselor. Girl, he didn't need that. He's a grown man. And I do mean that in literally just the age sense of the word. Okay, so definitely one of my faves, Aries, has a get together at her home. So she's inviting people. Girl, I would not let Lady Love into my house, but you know, good for sis for trying to be open and being a team player. They really need to step up this budget. Can we talk about that for a second? Ready to Love really be skimping on these, these couple getaways, and they really need to just stop renting Airbnbs all the time and just have some more stuff. Because why is she hosting this at her home? Anyway, sis is hosting this event. I think in it is oh, I'm gonna get his name next week because I'm forgetting it right now. And I'm not gonna go back over my notes. So your man with the dreads. I want to say his name is Herbert. And Aries, Sierra is there, Quentin is there. I believe Chris also showed up, and I believe it was somebody else that had on denim. And I'm trying to think of who it is, and I can't think of them at the moment. Jessica. So it was Jessica. So they're all at Aries' house, and she has a nice spread laid out for them, and they're sort of just sitting around, kind of talking and getting to know each other. Aries is really feeling Quentin, so she's sitting down and talking with him. They do have a significant age difference, I believe about 5 or 6 years or 10 years or something like that. There's an age difference, but she sees maturity in him and where he wants to be in his goals and that information. He's definitely feeling her, all smiles. They're all talking. Sierra's getting to know Herbert, and she is feeling him. There's something about his soul that she's connecting with. There's something about um, them getting to know each other and sort of having this deeper conversation that she's really, really enjoying about him. So she even gets like just very like nice vibes from him. Chris is talking with Aries as well. So everybody's just getting along and having a good time and getting to know each other. It was just like a very fun Black people meet. It very much gave, you know, card game night at the house. There was nothing specifically that stood out to me other than that Sierra started to really, really feel Herbert. And that was interesting to me. And to see how many connections that Quentin had. So I'm interested to see where he's going to pan out as well, because he's definitely had his eye on a few of the ladies. And, we hear other things down the line. So I'm interested to see what will happen and where that will sort of lead us in the situation. But for the most part, besides it looking like a Levi's commercial with Black people, there wasn't nothing more to this. Child, Habibi and Sierra meet up. So they are on a one-on-one date. It is at a bar. Habibi is super extra as usual. Sierra walks in. He loves her nails. He wants to see her outfit. He says, if you have nice nails and your nails are done as a woman, that's really important to him because that means you take care of yourself. And so many women don't have nice nails. It's just always something with this fool. Anyway, they sit down, they're eating, they're talking. She's definitely trying to, I think, understand his personality more. So I appreciate her for sort of digging in and saying, let me try to figure out this man a little bit. So she's talking with him, trying to have fun, having a good time. They're talking like friends. They mention that they both are from Louisiana or have some connection. I don't know how real his is, but hers feels a little bit more authentic. She even asked him a crawfish question, and they sort of bond on that. It gets a little familiar, probably a little too damn familiar, because Habibi then proceeds to call her mama a name, and inappropriately a cuss word that it's just really not appropriate for you meeting somebody and going out. Even if you're feeling comfortable, like we talking like cousins and just having a good time, it was a step too far, which is literally Habibi's personality in general. And so it is in the middle of that laughter, Sierra pops up with like the Scooby-Doo look, like, what you just say? And so now she's just not feeling him. Everything that she was trying to give him in terms of chances have completely come back, as they should, because once you talk about my mama, it's on. You know what I'm saying? You're lucky that production was here, so I would not be fighting you. And it's just crazy because it just proves what, all other women have been saying, except for Tequila, that Habibi is a full mess and he is just not there to love. He's there to be extra. This authenticity of being himself doesn't exclude him from the fact that he's just an immature clown, and it's just, it should, and becomes a wrap for him anyway. Now, y'all know I ain't got but so much to say on this, but I just have to say, why are these two not married? I mean, I'm holding out for the fact that they are a couple that makes it to the end. But Ready to Love will always make us upset with something. I'm hoping that, I feel like if anybody is gonna make this go bad or wrong, it'll be Quentin, because these two just seem perfect for each other. Gorgeous chocolate couple, both work out, both want the same amount of things, families, kids, all that kind of stuff. It's just like, it seems like the stars are aligned and they're actually attracted to each other. They're actually into each other. It's not one-sided. She's not bullying him. Hey, Camille, into the relationship. None of that. So it's one of those things where I feel like this feels like kismet, and it would be beautiful if this was love. So I'm hoping that her and Quentin make it to the end and it's genuinely them feeling each other. I don't really see Lee giving that much attention to too many other guys. I think she is like fully into the connection with him, and I can kind of see later on, um, when she talked a little bit in the uh, women's lounge, she was really into him. And I think a little bit finding out that he was talking to maybe one or two other women really made her a little sad, because I think she's really into him. And I'm sorry, but I sense the same thing with him. So I'm really hoping these two end up being the thing. Now, I don't got too much to say on this, but I just wanted to point out that I did not realize until we've been seeing it that they have been going to a Mason Lodge in Oak Cliff, which is, for many people who are not, who don't live in Houston, myself included. I know a little bit about Oak Cliff because most of the Black people I know that like live in Houston, or I'm not sorry, not Houston, in Dallas or around in that area in Texas, talk about the Oak Cliff community in Dallas, which is predominantly African American, from my understanding. And I just thought this was one of the most beautiful Mason lodges I had ever seen. Normally, when you see a Mason lodge, it's normally not like, it's really beautiful on the outside. This is like a gorgeous, gorgeous outside and the inside of the building. A lot of the Mason lodges that I normally see, even in prominent cities, tend to be like in older buildings, and from the outside at least, it's not all that appealing. But this beautiful building is just beautiful from the outside as well as the inside. So I just wanted to point that out because I just thought every time I look at the building for the lounge that they do, I love that they're doing it like in one location and don't have them in multiple places. But I love that they're using a lodge. It's probably mostly filled with Black members if it's in the Oak Cliff area. And I love that it is just a gorgeous, gorgeous setting in general, and that they got everybody in one central place. All right, Charles, let's get into it. We know what happened. Who started the fight? This last ladies lounge where they are talking about elimination was wild. It is clear that some of the ladies here need to go through a little bit more therapy, and they need to go to some counseling to figure out their situation. Now, full disclosure, I did end up watching Crystal's interview with Tequila, and I just felt like even in that interview, I was trying to understand Tequila more in this situation, and we'll get into that closer to the end of my review. But I just feel like she really lacks accountability, and I saw that very apparent in some parts of this episode, and especially at this end part. um just to me, everybody doesn't have to like who you like, girl. Now, I will say that I think Janelle did not help the situation with some of the commentary, but when she was explaining her experience, and even some of the other women explaining their experience, it's like she was listening to each person getting increasingly madder about the fact that they just did not understand Habibi's personality for her. And it just is a thing where, girl, he has to connect with other women to stay on the show. It just can't be you. um the whole point is that he's connecting with other folks, and they other people like him enough that he can eventually connect with his person. It just, to me, was just her not really being mature and understanding, like, he has to connect with other women. And most of the women just found him immature. And these are grown women that are the same age as this woman, telling her, like, look, we understand he likes to be a little bit of a funny guy, but he's kind of annoying. I believe that Aries called him obnoxious. And just the fact that she wasn't getting that is crazy. It was weird to me that she just could not connect to the idea that he wasn't everybody's cup of tea. And especially once Janelle said what she said about the breast comment, he was already a no-go. It was a wrap after that. I have never seen Tommy cuss like that regarding the situation. So it's clear that he's been taking in all the input and the stuff about not protecting women on this show really serious. And at least he showed specific outrage. I wish and I hope that in the next episode, he addresses this head on with the men about disrespect. I would love to see him have that conversation with them prior to. But, you know, just seeing Tequila, I just don't understand the energy for Habibi. Girl, you knew him less than, I don't even know, what, 6 days or something before you even got this? The way she was overly defending him made no sense. This is not your baby daddy. This is not your husband. This is not, it just didn't make any sense the way she was going so hard for him. And it makes me feel like she's done that for other men in her life that have not returned that energy. And that may be why she is single. So it was just disturbing to see. I do think some of it was egged on by that. When she came at Jessica at the end and said, you could get it too, I was flabbergasted. Like, I was totally blown for it. And it just didn't make any sense. She looked off the rails, and you don't ever want to just be looking crazy on these shows. Also, I really wasn't all buying that storyline about Quentin and the white girls, although I will keep an eye open because several women did say they thought the same thing too. But I will say, I feel like he's been giving so far positive energy towards many of the women. And I like how Lee stepped up to say, hey, well, I'm one of the darkest girls here, and he absolutely has been treating me amazing. We're going to keep a scintilla of an eye open on that just in case they weren't completely wrong. But I also kind of feel like it was blown out of proportion about him liking white girls, because when we watched the clip over again, we did see him say, Tequila specifically said to him, are you into me? And he said, I'm not into anybody at the moment. So he never said, none of these women are my type. We didn't catch that on camera. So I think it's safe to say that we got to give him a little bit more of a chance to show himself to be a mess, or be somebody that don't really mess with us in that way, before we make that. But so far, despite Habibi gets eliminated, I get eliminated energy, because wasn't that just a fool of an answer? Like, girl, what is wrong with you? You out here self-eliminated for some man you met, and who clearly, honestly, Habibi ain't even giving her that much play. He's not even giving her that much energy for her to be giving him this energy back. It's giving desperate. It's giving pick me weird energy. And it's also just giving alliance connection. Like, I don't want to be off the show. I know I'm not getting connection with every guy, but I still got Habibi. And trying to bully people into picking that pathetic moment, just, it was crazy. So production, like, they got her all the way together. She then sat down with all that extra energy, and Habibi was sent home anyway. So drop down in the comments. Let me know what y'all thought about the episode. What were your favorite moments? What were you not feeling? How did you feel about the fight? Who do you think started it? Don't forget to rate, like, comment, subscribe. Would love to come back and see you for episode 3. So thanks y'all for joining me, and I will see you in the next one.